Please rise. We'll be led in prayer today by Mr. Royal Palmentier. He is the guest of the gentleman from the 7th, Delegate Sheedy.
As I was preparing for today, James chapter 1 verse 5 came to mind, and it says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him." Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I come before you humbled, Father, by the provisions that you give us, by the fact that you sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on Calvary's cross for our sins, to be buried and risen again on the third day. Lord, I come before you asking that you give to the members of this house wisdom and knowledge, that they may serve those citizens of West Virginia that they have been elected to serve. Watch over them, Father. Give them dignity in debate. Give them civility in discussion as they discuss what needs to be handled here today, as they serve those that have elected them. Father, I ask that you give a hedge of protection around each and every one of them, around their families, as well as our first responders, Father. May you keep them safe. May you offer guidance to them. May you be with those that are represented in the rotunda today, Father, as they provide hope, help, and healing to those in crisis as we celebrate Flood Resiliency Week. Father God, most of all, I just thank you. I thank you for your Son, for all that he has provided. I thank you for these servants. May they continue to serve you well, keeping you foremost and centered throughout their discussions. Father God, I ask these things in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Members and guests in the gallery, please remain standing. We'll be led in the Pledge of Allegiance today by the gentleman from the 74th Delegate Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Everyone, please join me in pledging your allegiance to the flag that represents the greatest nation on earth. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members and guests may be seated. Reading of the Journal.
Journal of the House of Delegates, February 12, 2026.
Gentleman from the 51st, Delegate Clay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that be approved as having been read.
Delegate from the 51st, ask unanimous consent that further reading of the journal be dispensed with and it be approved as having been read. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Will be so approved. Introduction of guests. Delegate from the 50th, Delegate Pritt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hello and good morning, one and all. I am pleased to introduce to you all today two pages that are here with us this morning. They're students of mine, Mr. Bronson McLean and Miss Bailey Skeen, and I hope you make them feel welcome today. Thank you very much.
Delegate from the 13th, Delegate Heckard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the West Gallery today, we have joining us Mr. Scott Jewell, the President of the West Virginia Code Office Association, and Mr. Andy Nestor, Wood County Parkersburg Code Enforcement in the West Gallery. Please make them stand and make them feel welcome.
Delegate from the 25th, Delegate Hornbuckle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I'm excited to introduce my page today. If she would please stand. Mrs. Abby Mobley from Huntington High School. Her passion is art and painting, and she also has her mother here today in the South Gallery, Miss Melissa Mobley. House, please make them feel welcome.
Thank you.
Delegate from the 57th, Delegate Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to introduce a page. If he could stand up. His name is Gavin Marlene. He goes to John Adams Middle School. He is an accomplished violinist. He hopes to be in the Youth Symphony one day. He also skis. He's joined by his mother, Sierra Marlene. The House can make him feel welcome.
Delegate from the 34th, Delegate Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pleased to have a page here with us from Mingo Central High School, Mr. Blake Smith. Blake, if you would please stand. Blake is a former state Beta president, and he's also a fantastic athlete. He's escorted here today by his mother, Kim Smith. Friends, if you make him feel welcome.
Delegate from the 19th, Delegate Kraus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. This morning, I have a page with me today, Malachi Dijon, if he'll stand up, and his mom, she is with him, Courtney, up in the South Gallery. If the House can please make them feel welcome today.
Delegate from the 7th, Delegate Sheedy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce to you the gentleman that previously delivered the invocation formally. His name is Roy Palmentier. He's a West Virginia Southern Baptist Disaster Relief State Coordinator. He's also a Southern Baptist Convention's endorsed chaplain and the West Virginia Compassion Ministry Catalyst. Please give him a warm welcome. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from the 63rd, Delegate Dittman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Central Counties, which are Braxton, Gilmer, Wirt, Lewis, Roane, Calhoun, and Clay, they are set up in the lower rotunda today, highlighting the innovative projects and community programs. Please stop by after session, learn more, share ideas, and see how the region is moving forward. And I would also like to recognize those hardworking people, our economic development directors and other leaders that are in the North Gallery. Please stand and thank you for all you do, and please make them feel welcome. Thank you.
Delegate from the 95th, Delegate Horst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a friend in the North Gallery today, Bryce Barnes. Would the House please give him a warm welcome? Thank you.
Delegate from the 36th, Delegate Green.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my pleasure to be able to introduce our county commissioners from McDowell County, if they'll stand. Michael Brooks, our president, Cecil Patterson, and Dwayne Dotson, if the body would give them a warm welcome. And also, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to introduce Reverend Brad Davis. He's here for Flood Advocacy Day, also from McDowell County, if he would stand and the body would recognize him.
Delegate from the 17th, Delegate Pinson.
Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a page here today, and he is a homeschool student, Isaac Milan, and he's 17 years old. He's buzzing around the chamber somewhere helping a delegate. So Isaac is 17 years old, and he thinks that he wants to be an accountant, maybe a CPA. I've known he and his family for a long time. And joining Isaac is his father, Pastor Preston Milan. And Pastor Milan pastors the Evergreen Hills Baptist Church in Culloden, West Virginia. If the House would please make them feel welcome.
Delegate from the 31st, Delegate Mizaki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. I have a page, and he's already standing. That's awesome. His name is Alvin Kempf, and he's from Herbert Hoover High School. Please make him feel welcome.
Delegate from the 46th, Delegate Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Delegate Canterbury and I have pages today from Eastern Greenbrier Middle School. If they will stand when I call their name. Nico Ratliff, Haley Leatherman, Amelia Wiley, and Thomas McDaniel. They're here today with their parents and grandparents in our galleries. If they'll stand when I call their name. Rick Leatherman, Jason and Andy McDaniel, Lauren Ratliff, and Terry and Teresa Kuhn. Will the House please give them an almost heaven West Virginia welcome?
Delegate from the 59th, Delegate Shamblin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is National Organ Donor Day. Today we recognize February 14th as National Donor Day, a day set aside each year to celebrate the gift of life through organ tissue and cornea donation. Donate Life West Virginia and the Center for Organ Recovery and Education join in raising awareness about life-saving power of organ donation. Right now, more than 100,000 people across the country are waiting for a second chance at life through organ transplantation. Here in West Virginia, nearly 500 of our neighbors are on the transplant waiting list, hoping for a life-saving match. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives through organ transplantation. One tissue donor can heal up to 75 lives. National Donor Day is dedicated to the selfless individuals who chose to give the gift of life, and to the families who supported their loved ones' decision to donate. Their generosity has given hope and healing to countless recipients in need. The most heartfelt gift anyone can give is the gift of life. West Virginians can now sign up as organ donors at their local DMV when purchasing a hunting or fishing license, or by visiting dlwv.org. In conjunction with that, I have an introduction to make. I have some constituents in the North Gallery, the Fields family, who are tremendous advocates for organ donation, residents of Nitro, West Virginia. If they would stand, and the House could make them feel welcome. Just a little bit more about the Fields family. Timmy Bub Fields, a beloved 15-year-old organ donor, is being honored today for National Donor Day. His parents are Nicole Fields Nichols and Tyler Nichols. Timmy loved being outdoors, especially on the water, casting his fishing pole. He loved football, junior ROTC, climbing on everything that he shouldn't have, and spending time with those he loved. He would never shy from helping a stranger. He was always ready to put a smile on someone's face or cheer them up in any way possible. If you knew him, you were family, because the more, the merrier. On November 16, 2024, Timmy tragically passed away. The Fields family worked closely with Corps Representative Lance Wheeler, who provided compassionate guidance throughout the process. Timmy was able to donate his heart, his left lung, liver, right kidney, left kidney, and pancreas. His left kidney and pancreas went to the same recipient. The Fields family finds comfort in knowing that Timmy lives on, that he lives on through others. They have been touched to receive letters from 3 recipient families expressing their gratitude for their loved one's second chance at life. The Fields family was honored at the Dirty Birds game last year, highlighting their decision for Timmy to be an organ donor and encouraging others to consider the life-saving impact of this selfless decision. Their message to the public and legislators is clear. Organ donation saves lives, and every donor has the power to be a hero. Thank you once more.
Delegate from the 6th, Delegate Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the South Gallery, you have one of our county commissioners from Marshall County, and a dear friend of mine, Dave McLaughlin, is with us. Would you please make him feel welcome?
Delegate from the 66th, Delegate Kyle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, if you'll turn your attention to the North Gallery, we're welcome today and blessed to have my beautiful wife and First Lady of the 66th, Angela Kyle.
Delegate for the 28th, Delegate Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have a couple pages with us today. First, if they would stand when I call their name, we have Mr. Jackson Atkins. He's a student at Cerritos Middle School, and he's being escorted by his mother, Leslie Shad, and his brother, Sawyer Atkins, if they could please stand as well. And then also we have Miss Bryn Jordan, and she is being escorted by Bradley and Mandy Jordan, who are also my great friends from back home. If the House could please make them feel welcome.
Are there other introductions? Other introductions? If not, reports to standing committee.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 4709 relating to changing the process of election litigation, and House Bill 5166 to provide notice to any political committees violating the filing requirements prior to assessing any civil fines and giving the Secretary of State authority to grant additional time for compliance not to exceed an additional 14 days. Reports same back with recommendation each do pass.
Report to be received.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 4568, clarifying abuse of process, House Bill 4710, changing the limit on switching parties before filing to run for office from 60 days to 180 days prior to an election, House Bill 5176, relating to creating the animal abuse database within the West Virginia State Police, and House Bill 5182, relating generally to authorizing security personnel employed by the State Treasury to carry concealed weapons while performing his or her official duties. Reports committee substitutes back therefore with recommendation each do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Energy and Public Works has had under consideration House Resolution 6, recognizing the importance of sustained economic development to the prosperity of West Virginia. Reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation the committee substitute be adopted, but first be referred to your Committee on Rules.
Report will be received, and the resolution will be referred to the Committee on Rules.
Your Committee on Government Organizations had under consideration House Bill 4088 relating to certified public accountants. And reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation the committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Health and Human Resources had under consideration House Bill 5379 to require payment by insurers directly to the out-of-network Emergency Medical Services Agency and the prompt payment of clean claims. Report same back with recommendation that the bill do pass, but first be referred to your Committee on Finance.
Report will be received, and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Your Committee on Health and Human Resources had under consideration House Bill 5086 relating to peer support services. Reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation committee substitute do pass, but first be referred to your Committee on the Judiciary.
Report will be received, and the committee substitute will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
Your Committee on Finance had under consideration House Bill 4009 relating to the creation of the Portable Benefit Account Act. And reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received. Other reports of standing committees? If not, reports of select committees. Messages from the executive. Messages from the Senate.
Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed the following bills. Committee substitute for Senate Bill 478, Second Amendment Reaffirmation and Protection Act.
Report will be received, and the committee will be referred to the report will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senate Bill 704, prohibiting certain compensation for advising or assisting with veterans' benefits.
Report will be received, and the report will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary. Other Senate messages? If not, resolutions, petitions, bills introduced.
House Bill 5484, creating the crime of conspiracy to deny medical treatment to victim of sexual offense.
Gentleman from the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to the further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with, and that each bill be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the Chamber Automation System.
Gentleman from the first, ask unanimous consent that further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with, and each bill be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the Chamber Automation System. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Motions. Unfinished business. Bills on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 1, Small Business Growth Act.
Is there objection? Before us now is passage of the bill. Is there objection to having the bill explained in lieu of having it read? No objections heard. Delegate from the 55th to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to explain a bill that I'm just really excited about. As someone who grew up in a family that owned their own small business that paid for my education and everything else I needed, this is a bill that I just take a lot of personal pride in. I give credit where credit is due. This bill actually was really, I think, more the thought process and is here today because the gentleman from the 62nd, the Speaker of the House, Speaker Hanshaw, was looking for ways to fill a funding gap that exists out there for small businesses. And I want to thank the Committee on Finance for all their great work that's been done on this bill. They addressed some concerns, made this a much stronger bill. The gentleman from the 72nd and the 12th, thank you for the work you did on this and for trusting me to present this bill today on Camel Hair Friday that the chairman has appropriately dressed for. What we have in this bill is the focus is on small businesses. This tax credit program that's in this bill applies to companies that employ less than 250 employees. 60% of the workforce has to be West Virginia based, or you can move 60% of your workforce into West Virginia. A lot of the bills that we see, and they're great bills, but a lot of the economic development bills we see are geared towards attracting new businesses to the state, and we're all for that. This bill is focused on existing West Virginia businesses. This is a promise that we have made that we're going to start focusing as much of our attention as possible on existing West Virginia businesses, and this bill provides them with the capitalization they need to grow. One of the problems we have, and the Speaker recognized this, is that a lot of our small community banks don't provide lending to small businesses. It's just not a market that that the risk justifies it. The return sometimes doesn't justify it. The large institutional banks don't see the return that they need. So a lot of our small businesses have nowhere to turn if they need investment in their companies to make them grow. This is a program that is not unique. It exists in 18 other states. We know that it works. It is not identical, but it's very close and mirrors what we refer to as the federal new market tax program that's existed since around the year 2000, which Congress has had to renew multiple times. It became more robust during the first Trump administration, really saw growth between 2018 and 2020. And then in 2025, the federal equivalent of this tax credit we're here to talk about today became permanent in the Trump administration's One Big Beautiful Bill. So this program has been extremely successful nationwide, federally, and at the state level in 18 other states, all of which that I've looked at that have had a sunset provision in their tax credit program, which is similar. All those states have renewed. All those states have renewed because of the success they have seen. They've seen returns on investment of more than $2 for every $1 in credits that are made. This program doesn't just pay for itself. It results in a profit for the state, for lack of a better phrase, the states that allow for this program and have the structure for it. So real quickly again, less than 250 employees, more than 60% of your workforce in the state of West Virginia, fixes a funding gap that those companies have. The program works by taking premium credits that already exist in the state of West Virginia from insurance companies and allowing those to be invested in existing West Virginia businesses. After 3 years, those credits are then applied to those investments in West Virginia small businesses. Those credit dollars are returned to the investors, but that's after 2 years of investment. And the research in these programs nationwide shows that by then, the company growth has made up for the credits that those companies then begin to receive from the state of West Virginia. The growth is measurable. There are several examples in our surrounding states. Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania all have this program in place already. There's a company in Athens, Ohio, where my oldest daughter goes to college. Small manufacturing company. They are one example of success that I've done in my research on this program where she goes to school. That small manufacturing company has seen significant growth by using Ohio's version of this tax credit program. That's a brief description of why we're here, just generally what the motivation was behind this bill, who it's supposed to help. The program will be administered by the Department of Commerce. That's where the applications will be made to. But all the investment is private to private. You have private investors providing private capital to private companies. The government is not involved in this other than making sure as a safeguard and guardrails that the companies that are doing the investing are legitimate companies. And that's what the application process is for the Department of Commerce. Otherwise, at the rural level, less than 1% of private equity capital goes to rural communities, less than 1%. And these types of programs are meant to fix that so that we see more private investment at the local level. The loans that are made to the private small businesses are structured in such a way that they are considered to be advantageous loans. So generally, the loan terms the rates are below normal market rate. They are de-risked in that the company making the loan generally takes a subsidiary position in the loan structure. So these are advantageous loans to the companies that receive them. And they just return have a great return on investment for the state and the surrounding communities. The bill does have what appears to be in some ways it looks like there may be a complex structure in how this is structured, but once again, this is not a unique program. It exists in 18 other states, including 3 of our surrounding states. I just couldn't be happier to present this bill. I appreciate, again, the work in the Committee on Finance for all they did to improve this bill. This is absolutely going to result in the growth of our West Virginia small businesses. It has in the other states that use the program. It'll do great things here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the ability to present this bill, or opportunity to present this bill this morning. Take any questions and urge passage.
You've now heard the bill explained. There's the debate on the bill. The gentleman from the 37th, Delegate Gearhart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very pleased that the Subcommittee on Revenue was the first to have the opportunity to look at this bill. And I don't mind telling you that high finance is not necessarily my specialty. And when I looked at this bill, it made my eyes spin just a little bit because there's a lot of detail here and there. The reality is the impetus of this bill is pretty simple. It makes a pool of capital available to West Virginia businesses that currently cannot access that kind of capital. Businesses that are successful, that have the opportunity to grow and become even more successful and to expand what we do here, now can have access to the dollars in order to do that by means of this bill. And it really is that simple. I believe, and it has been purported to us, that the dollars that are available here not only will be available, but that those investors will be actively seeking individuals to participate, as opposed to what you might find with traditional financing where the borrower has to go find someone that might be willing to do that. In other words, they don't make money within the growth funds unless they have somebody that participates either in a loan or an equity format. This is a great bill for small business in West Virginia. It's a great opportunity for everyone, our neighbors, to have businesses that will grow because they have access to the funds that will enable them to do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There's another debate on the bill. Delegate from the 12th, Delegate Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. Yes, I'd like to thank the chairman of the Subcommittee on Revenue. They worked the bill well. Yes, there is a lot of detail and a lot of financial information in there. But the one thing, as the chairman of Judiciary spoke to, Athens is only 35 minutes away from my hometown in Parkersburg. We see a lot of this activity. I look around the room to Mason County and Cabell County and Jackson County. We see it all the time. We're competing for those people that live in our valley to locate their businesses on one side of the river or the other. A lot of us work on both sides of the river. We all know that. We don't discriminate because of the river. But finally, in the financial structure of our state, we are going to have the opportunity to help small businesses. My family business is third generation. We've been in business for over 85 years. We're a very highly heavy iron business. And things like this are going to help some of our customers on the river be able to do some expansion that they desperately need, because we see the growth on the Ohio River, the regeneration of manufacturing along the Ohio River, and that is going to help the smaller footprints that we can create for the state of West Virginia and for their employer base. And again, please, I urge passage.
Delegate from the 25th, Delegate Hornbuckle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise today to thank the work of the Finance Committee, the gentleman from the 12th, the 72nd, and especially the 37th. Two things have been noted in the commentary on this piece of legislation: assistance and access. And what we're doing here today is we are looking at people who currently do not have the means to be able to further themselves in a business setting. And we're acknowledging that they do not have access, and so as a body, we're going to create that. And I appreciate that and urge acceptance. Thank you.
Delegate from the 7th, Delegate Sheedy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I personally have been working with an individual for almost 2 years now to help him obtain grants and money to get his small business up and running. He is supporting his wife and family now with his small business. He wants to expand. This will enable him to expand without having to seek any further grants or take any small business loans. This is just history-making legislation, in my opinion, for the state of West Virginia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from 36, Delegate Green.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to rise in support of this bill. I've been a small business owner, and in the process of opening one of my businesses, the local banks would not give me the full monetary values that I needed. Thankfully, I was able to go to the SBA, but if this program would have been available, it would have been a great godsend for us at that time. So I sincerely suggest that the body do accept this bill and pass it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there other debate on the bill? If not, does the gentleman from the 55th Delegate Acres wish to close debate?
Just real quickly, Mr. Speaker, everyone who gives an Oscar speech forgets to thank somebody. I forgot to thank the gentleman from the 37th and his Revenue Subcommittee. This is the first place where that bill started. The first substantial changes were made there. I apologize for not mentioning that. Absolutely correct. So thank you also, sir, for your work on this bill. First, I thought you might stand up to be attacking me today. I wasn't sure what was about to happen. This truly is, and thank you for the gentleman from Cabell for also standing up and supporting this bill, which I hope is a fully bipartisan bill. I hope that we all vote for it. This is one to really be proud of. We talked this session about jobs first. We talked this session about helping West Virginians first and making sure the people who live here get everything that they deserve from us to make their lives better. This is just an outstanding piece of legislation that has worked in other states, and I will tell you this. One of the investor funds who we met with while we were trying to figure out how to draft this bill has already identified dozens of West Virginia businesses who they said that they plan to reach out to offer some of this financing to them. These are companies who would not be able to get financing otherwise. These are legitimate loans that provide growth and opportunity for our West Virginia businesses, and I hope everyone's really proud to press green on this one. Thank you so much. Again, I urge passage, Mr. Speaker.
Debate on the bill has now been closed. The question before the House is on passage of the bill. All those in favor of passage will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the results. On this question, there are 87 yeas, 3 nays, 9 members absent, not voting. A majority of the members present having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title of the bill.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 1.
Are there amendments to the title?
Delegate Chris moves to amend the title.
Before us now is a title amendment. All those in favor of the title amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it. Title amendment is adopted. The title amendment is passed. All those in, the title of the bill as amended will remain and be the title of the bill. Next bill on, the clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Well, the gentleman from the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to make the bill effective from passage.
The gentleman first moves to make the bill effective from passage. Those in favor of the gentleman's motion, please signify by voting aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. On that question, there are 87 ayes, 3 nays, 9 members absent, not voting, 2/3 of the membership having voted in the affirmative. I declare the motion passed and the bill effective from passage. The clerk will please report the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee Substitute for House Bill 4003 has been moved to the House calendar by your Committee on Rules.
Next bill on third reading.
Committee Substitute for House Bill 4098 to restore the right of a person to sit on a jury has been restored upon expungement of one's record.
Before us now is passage of the bill. Is there objection to having the bill explained in lieu of having it read? If not, the gentleman from the 55th, Delegate Acres, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4098 does what the short title says. It restores the right of a person to sit upon a jury upon expungement of the record. It amends the code relating to disqualification to sit on a jury, and it clarifies that a person who has been previously disqualified as a result of certain convictions, not every conviction, but just certain convictions enumerated within this bill and the existing code, will not be disqualified if the conviction is expunged, set aside, or if the person has received an unconditional pardon for the previously disqualifying offense. That's a brief description of the bill, Mr. Speaker. Urge passage.
Now heard the bill explained. There's a debate on the bill. Delegate from the 95th, Delegate Horst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4098 came about as I was working on auto restoration of the Second Amendment rights upon completion of sentence for nonviolent felons. I should first point out that the ATF, aka feds, treat the Second Amendment as a second-class right and will not recognize restoration unless they see the right to vote, the right to hold public office, and the right to sit on a jury has been restored. With that said, Mr. Barnes reached out to me with his story. He was convicted in 2009 of a crime involving more than 14 grams of marijuana that is a felony. He lost an almost new vehicle via the civil asset forfeiture. He completed his sentence, and against all odds, while being a convicted felon, he built a successful business and respect in his community. Mr. Barnes had his criminal record expunged at great cost. Mr. Barnes was also able to attain a West Virginia concealed carry permit, only to find out he still had a federal firearms disability and was at risk of being a felon in possession and could not purchase a firearm due to the feds not recognizing his right to sit on a jury had been restored. An arrest for felon in possession could easily have cost him everything. Mr. Barnes went on to spend another $7,000 only to find out he still had the federal disability because the feds did not feel West Virginia Code clarified his right to sit on a jury had been restored. He recently returned to court to get a court order stating all of his civil rights, Second Amendment rights, have been restored, but to this day, he still carries the federal firearms disability after spending $10,000, which shows the need for auto restoration process, since the average West Virginian cannot afford $10,000. Hopefully, Mr. Barnes' firearm disability may be resolved any day now. HB 4098 clarifies the right to sit on a jury has been restored upon expungement, and in my opinion, we have more work to do on restoration of rights. Perhaps what is classed as a felony for marijuana due to most states that border West Virginia now have legalized recreational use, which has created a trap for West Virginians that would be a felony. But HB 4098 is a start. I urge a yes vote, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from the 57th, Delegate Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman from the 95th yield for question?
Yes.
Delegate yields.
Thank you, sir. So the gentleman in which you were, that inspired this bill, he lost his right to vote, he lost his right to participate in a jury, he lost his Second Amendment right, and he had to spend upwards to $10,000 to restore all that for getting convicted for 14 grams of marijuana. Is that what you're saying?
What was the question? I'm sorry. I didn't catch the question there.
The gentleman in which that inspired this bill that you just spoke of.
Yes.
He lost his right to vote, lost his right to participate in the jury, lost his Second Amendment right, cost him $10,000 for getting caught with 14 grams of marijuana. Is that what you just said? Is that correct?
Yes, I think it was over 14 grams, but anything above 14 grams of marijuana is a felony, as I understand.
So he had to go through all this. And how many years did you say he had to do to restore all these rights?
I'm not sure how many years was involved, but his conviction was in 2009. And he still carries the federal disability, which should be resolved very soon because he had to go back to court and get a very clear order from the court stating that all of his rights, all of his civil rights, including the right to sit on a jury and his Second Amendment rights, have been restored. Basically, the court had to paint it with crayon for the feds to understand this.
And he had to do all this for getting caught with marijuana?
Yes.
Thank you.
Gentleman from the 91st, Delegate Masters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise in favor of this legislation. Proud co-sponsor of it, and I maybe agree. I wish it went just a little further. So you've heard description of these three core civil rights. The federal case law refers to it as the right to vote, the right to hold office, and the right to sit in a jury. Two of those three we do automatically, we restore. We restore the right to vote, as we should. We restore the right to hold office. We do that automatically after a person has completed their sentence and after they've completed any type of supervision they're on. What we have left is the right to sit in a jury, which I will acknowledge, having tried jury trials, is a pretty important power. What this does is explicitly states that those, not every felon, but those who have qualified for and gone through the supervision from a court to have their case expunged would therefore, I guess written in a crayon as we say, state explicitly that their right to sit in a jury is restored. And when you hear the word expunge, you might be scratching your head as to why we would even have to do that. And it's a good question. Because our law already contemplates trying to restore the person back to as if the proceedings hadn't occurred. But we do, I guess, for the federal government, have to break the crayon out and explicitly write that this restores the jury rights. In reading a lot of the case law, it's kind of a nuanced and tricky spot. And case law certainly is not the funnest thing to read all the time. But on occasion, it gives you what I would dare say is a little bit poetic. And I want to read a brief excerpt from a case along these lines. It says, society must be protected from law violators, and their punishment must be just, commensurate with the seriousness of the offense. But the state does not punish malefactors in vengeance. She does not entertain against them throughout the years a spirit of vindictiveness, nor is the state relentless or unforgiving. It is the anxious desire of the state that those of her citizens who have transgressed the law, suffered convictions, and paid the penalty of the law, that they shall profit from that unfortunate experience and thereafter make themselves good citizens, leading lives of uprightness and usefulness. Society is interested in that result, and not in placing forever the brand of iniquity on the forehead of one who in the frailty of humanity has departed from the narrow path. A little bit of grace and redemption. I want to extend that to our brothers and sisters who have strayed from that path. I think this bill is a good step in the right direction, and I ask for your support. Thank you.
Delegate from the 54th, Delegate Pushkin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman from the 95th yield, please?
Gentleman yields.
Yes.
Thank you. So this bill focuses on restoring the right to serve on a jury. Is that because you said in federal, the feds look at that, you have to have that restored before you could have gun rights restored, is that correct?
Yes, they look at those three civil rights: the right to settle on a jury, the right to vote, and the right to hold public office.
Okay, so the right to vote is automatic. In West Virginia, it's automatically restored
Correct.
once you're off paper. Okay, what about the right to hold public office?
I believe that's automatic as well. In fact, I'm not even sure it's even lost due to a felony. I think
for legislature and magistrate, can't. President, you can, by the way, have 30-some felonies and still be president, but serve in this body, you can't have a felony on your record, but I digress a little bit. So this is focused on the ability to serve on a jury, because that would restore gun rights, even in federal charges?
this would not affect the federal charge, I'm afraid. It would just affect state charges.
Okay. So this doesn't affect, if someone is convicted of federal charges and lost and a felony on a federal level and was pardoned, this would have no effect on that?
Correct. This would not affect that whatsoever.
Okay. Thank you for yielding.
Delegate from the 65th, Delegate Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the chairman of Judiciary yield for a question?
Gentleman yields.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I asked in committee, and I just wanted to ask again, can someone who has been convicted of witness tampering, would they be able to get that expunged? Is that possible, to have an expungement for witness tampering?
Yeah, I'm looking under, so the expungement, the crimes that are expungible, the state level crimes are listed under 61-11-26. There's 20 plus crimes that are excluded from expungement. I am not aware of witness tampering being one of those crimes. I can't sit here and list every single crime that qualifies for expungement, but it is in current code. I also will say in response to a prior question, the way this bill is written, I believe it would actually apply to federal crimes if you had a federal expungement or a federal pardon, because the way the bill reads, it just says anyone who has their conviction and expunge or set aside. So if that's done at the federal level, I think you'd be fine state level too. I don't mean to go beyond your question, but just want to clarify that. But I'm not aware of witness tampering being an excluded crime under the expungement statute. I could be wrong. They're all listed here, but
So is the same, I was going to have the same question for like evidence tampering, same kind of thing.
not aware of that. I mean, the crimes you generally see under the expungement statute that are disqualified, this is not all of them, but crimes of violence, crimes against children, sex crimes, certain domestic violence convictions. That's mostly what you're going to see. The ones you just listed, I do not believe are excluded under the expungement statute.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from the 54th, Delegate Pushkin.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Gentlemen, yield again, please, from the 95th.
Gentleman yields.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you, did you hear that line of questioning that just took place?
I had a hard time hearing you.
Did you catch the questions that were just asked and answered just now about this bill?
Can I do what now?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Did you hear the line of
Yes,
questions
yes,
that just
yes.
played about whether this did apply to federal expungements, correct? So it does apply, correct?
I would defer to the Judiciary Chair on that then.
Okay. So my question is, would it also apply to pardons?
I believe the language was changed in the committee sub that would apply to a pardon, I think.
Okay. So it would also apply to, say, the charge of assault on a Capitol Police officer, and say that the person that did that was then later pardoned by the president. This would allow them to have their gun rights restored?
I do not know the crimes that can be expunged. I do not know the list of the crimes
Well,
that
that
can be
can't be
expunged.
expunged, but it's been pardoned. Thank you for yielding. Would Judiciary Chair yield, please?
Gentleman yields.
You stated earlier, just a few minutes ago, that what can't be expunged on a federal level, and you mentioned violent crimes. However, they can be pardoned, right?
Yeah, there's no limitation on a pardon that I'm aware
Exactly. So this would apply to that as well?
of. It applies to someone who has a pardon.
It applies to somebody who's been pardoned,
Yes.
even if their crime was assault on a Capitol Police officer in the nation's capital?
I guess you can keep pointing out that specific crime. It applies to anyone whose crime has been pardoned, anyone.
Okay. Thank you for yielding.
Is there other debate on the bill? No other debate being seen. Does the gentleman from the 55th wish to close debate? Question before the House now is passage of the bill. All those in favor of passage will please vote aye. Those opposed vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On this question, there are 87 yeas, 3 nays, 9 members absent not voting. A majority of the members present having voted in the affirmative, declared chairs the bill passed. Clerk will please report the title of the bill.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4098.
Are there amendments to the title? If not, the title will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please report the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
House Bill 4462, Prohibition on Cell-Cultured Products.
Are there objections? Before us now is passage of the bill. Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having it read? No objections heard. The gentleman from the 68th, Delegate Phillips, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4462 prohibits the offering for sale or selling of a cell-cultured meat, fish, or poultry product for human consumption. Since products will be banned, it also deletes the labeling requirements for such products in code as well. 7 states in the U.S. as of this date, including Florida, Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, Mississippi, have enacted or considered bans on the manufacture, sale, or distribution of cell-cultured, which is also known as lab-grown or lab-cultivated meat, fish, and poultry products. These products are created by culturing animal cells and fabricating them into dimensional meat-like products with a variety of non-animal cell constituents in a controlled environment. Various health-related concerns justify a ban at this time. Potential contamination during the cell culturing process, which occurs in bioreactors or lab-like settings. This includes risk from bacterial or other microbial contaminants that could arise without the natural immune systems present in live animals. long-term health impacts. There's a complete lack of comprehensive long-term studies on the health effects of consuming cell-cultured products. And while short-term safety evaluations by FDA exist, the novelty of the technology means potential chronic effects such as impacts on human metabolism or disease risks, and those remain unknown. Lab-grown meat has already been recognized in other states as untested, potentially unsafe, and nearly unregulated. The use of growth factors, hormones, or other additives in the culturing process has raised substantial questions of unintended health consequences, such as allergenicity or toxicity, and reliance on immortalized cell lines, cells that have been genetically engineered to divide indefinitely, have yet to be empirically established not to give rise to long-term cancer risks. I urge passage.
You now heard the bill explained. Is there debate on the bill? Delegate from the 80th, Delegate Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the chairman yield for a couple of questions?
Certainly.
Thank you. So it's my understanding, I didn't know what the intent was. I didn't know coming in today if it was some type of economic protectionism or if it was health-related concerns. And so I think you've just identified that. Where are these studies? Who's publishing these studies that say that there's concern about this from a health standpoint?
Well, that's part of the problem. There's very limited in-depth studies on it. Most of the studies we have actually come from the industry, and that has to be taken with a grain of salt. That's kind of like asking the tobacco industry if smoking is safe.
Would you agree that in something like this, the burden of proof should be on the side that's saying that this is dangerous, where you have one side who has studies saying it's perfectly fine? Why are there no studies from the other side saying that it's unsafe?
Well, this is still nascent technology, and it's not that's part of the reasoning behind this bill for public safety is that we don't have complete information on the topic yet.
Is this something that has been approved by the FDA? Did you mention that?
Yeah, there has been some FDA approval, and there are, to my knowledge now, 2 high-end restaurants sort of selling this as a novelty in Washington, D.C. and California, I believe. But my committee's concern was getting ahead of this before we get into widespread industrial production.
Secretary Kennedy, despite aspects that I would certainly disagree with, he's gotten to work pretty quickly. Is this something that he dislikes? I would have thought that this is something the FDA would have acted on already if the new Secretary of Health didn't agree with this cell-cultured meat.
I didn't consult Secretary Kennedy on it. So.
I don't blame you. Sometimes I don't know who he does consult. Thank you for taking questions. I appreciate it. Mr. Speaker, this is problematic legislation. You've got 7 states who are doing this now. That is true, but you also have court cases who are questioning the constitutionality of this, and for good reason, because we don't tell people what type of food they can buy. This is something that's been affirmed in this body several times, because now you can go out and get raw milk from someone. I don't know why we would seek to tell people what they can eat, particularly when there's not any real proof that this is harmful. And I think about the potential research capacity that we're cutting off in my neck of the woods with West Virginia University, Fairmont State. Are we killing potential industries that could come in and help with this and work on this? I think so. I'm worried with this cell-cultured meat bill because I tell people back home all the time, I say, listen, I don't always agree with everything in the legislature either, but by God, they say they're for freedom. Here we got this cell-cultured meat bill, and this is cell-cultured conservatism. That's what it is. You're going to tell people what they can eat and can't eat. I would have thought that was impossible, that we'd ban the Impossible Burger. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from the 57th, Delegate Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speak to the bill. Again, I'm going to be transparent. I do not want to eat cell-cultured meat. It's just not something I wish to consume. However, I think that we should not, if somebody else wants to eat it, they should be allowed to eat it. And I think, long as we have clear labeling on the meat, I think it should be able to be sold. Just because I don't want to consume it, that's my personal choice, but it's also the choice of somebody else who wishes to consume it. There's been several states, including Tennessee, South Carolina, and North Carolina, who have labeling requirements for this. And again, I understand that there is a slippery slope. We don't want to get this in schools, but I think we can make legislation around that. As far as the contamination, all food during the processing has potential to be contaminated. To the chairman's point, there's been no studies as far as illness derived from consuming of this meat. So again, I think it's freedom, it's choices, and people should be allowed to make those choices. So for that reason, I'm a no on this.
Delegate from the 5th, Delegate Fluharty.
Will the gentleman yield?
Gentleman yields.
Yes. I just want to make sure I have this correctly because I'm not on your committee. So these products, they are FDA approved. They have been.
There's been some FDA approval on the technology for manufacturing them at this point. And like I explained before, to my knowledge, there's only 2 places that are offering it for consumer sale in the entire country at the moment.
So there was no testimony that's being sold currently in West Virginia?
No.
Do we know any stores that were planning to sell in West Virginia?
I do not have any knowledge of any, no.
Any testimony about the potential fiscal impact? So in other words, this technology as it advances, how much we would expect to gain from it in the coming years?
No, we had no testimony to that.
And wouldn't this effectively ban manufacturing within our state of this product?
No, this bans offering it for sale.
So why would a company ever locate to West Virginia if they couldn't sell their product here?
I'm not sure that we have any companies planning on locating in West Virginia to establish a bioreactor.
But you do realize these biotech companies are opening manufacturing plants throughout the country. One in Illinois, just in my short study of this, where they invested hundreds of millions of dollars. You know that's taking place throughout the country, right?
Yes.
Okay, and this product, while FDA approved and sold in many states, at least it's going to be, obviously, so you're going to have interstate commerce. Is there any questions in the committee process about the constitutionality of this legislation?
We had no questions on the constitutionality of it.
Well, I appreciate you yielding.
My apologies. The minority chair indicates that she did.
Yes, I suspect she did. She's very thorough and
Yes, she
understands
is.
there's some Commerce Clause issues here. So, well, thank you for yielding. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Very quickly, Mr. Speaker. You know, guys, we just passed legislation helping small businesses. Now we're running legislation which will hurt small businesses, especially those that are growing in the future with this technology. I mean, the gentleman brought up cigarettes earlier. We allow cigarettes to be sold because we allow individual choice with proper labeling, which was already required under the law for this legislation, for this product. And now we're just saying labeling doesn't matter. We're going to ban it completely. That is some nanny state nonsense right there. We talk about freedoms on the campaign trails and individual choice, and we're going to block the sale of a product that I trust West Virginians when they make decisions to read a label and know whether they want to have I drink energy drinks every day down here. Probably a hell of a lot more dangerous than those products. Yeah. So allow them to have the individual choice. I mean, I don't understand what our beef is with innovation. What's our beef with science? Right? What's our beef with biotech companies locating in West Virginia and employing people? So, I don't get it. I'm going to support small businesses. I'm going to support West Virginians making individual choices, and I'm not going to support nanny state nonsense. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there other debate on the bill? If not, does the gentleman wish to close debate? Nope, wait a minute. Delegate from the 3rd, Delegate Willis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the chair of GovOrg yield?
Certainly.
Chairman
Thank you.
yields.
We've heard some concern about potential jobs coming to the state, maybe not coming if we ban this. Are you aware of Lynchburg, Tennessee, where Jack Daniels is headquartered and distilled?
I am aware of Lynchburg, yes.
Are you aware that that's a dry county?
I am aware of that also.
Yet they still stay there, employ people there, and work there even though it's a dry county?
I believe they produce quite a bit of bourbon there, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Is there other debate on the bill? If not, does the gentleman from the 68th wish to close debate on the bill?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Very briefly. This is a bill about consumer protection, and I respect my friends on the other side of the aisle's concerns about killing industries, but I'm far more concerned about killing the people of West Virginia with unproven, untested products that we don't know the long-term consequences of. When we are genetically modifying stem cells to be immortal and grow in a bioreactor forever, producing this product that's then put on sometimes a 3D printed or another artificially manufactured structure to mimic the texture and shape of meat. I think that prudence is the watchword here today, and that we should, if this industry matures and proves safe over the course of time, but I think our job here in this chamber is looking out for the health of our citizens, and I hope everyone will support the bill. Thank you.
Debate on the bill has now been closed. Before the body now is passage of the bill. Those in favor of passage will please signify by voting aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the results. On this question, there are 64 yeas, 25 nays, 10 members absent, not voting. A majority of the members present having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title of the bill.
House Bill 4462.
Are there amendments to the title? If not, the title will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please report the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
House Bill 4561, clarifying the sheriff's authority to hire within their office.
Before us now is passage of the bill. Is there objection to having the bill explained in lieu of having it read? No objections heard. The gentleman from the 45th, Delegate Brooks, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4561 is a very simple and straightforward bill. It simply clarifies that the county sheriffs can appoint more than one chief deputy within their departments, only with the advice and consent of the county commission. Mr. Speaker, that's the bill, and I do urge passage.
Now heard the bill explained. Is there a debate on the bill? There is no debate on the bill. The question before us now is passage of the bill. All those in favor of passage will please signify by voting aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On this question, there are 88 yeas, 0 nays, 11 members absent, not voting. A majority of the members present having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. Clerk will please report the title of the bill.
House Bill 4561.
Are there amendments to the title? If not, the title will be and remain the title of the bill. Next bill, the clerk will please report the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
House Bill 4602, relating to requiring the Department of Human Services to establish a pilot program to contract for supplemental caseworker aid services for the Bureau for Social Services.
Before us now is passage of the bill. Is there objection to having the bill explained in lieu of having it read? No objections heard. The gentleman from the 64th, Delegate Burkhammer, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The purpose of House Bill 4602 is to create a pilot program to utilize private partnerships to aid department staff with administrative services so that caseworkers will have more time for personal interactions with children and families served by the department. This pilot program would be limited to 1 or more districts comprised of no more than 3 counties for an initial duration of 15 months. Prior to the completion of the pilot program, the department is required to provide a report to the Joint Committee on Health about the pilot program and recommendations for the continuation and expansion. The department is also allowed, depending on the outcomes, to expand or continue the program at their own discretion. Urge passage.
Now heard the bill explained. There's a debate on the bill. Gentleman from the 87th, Delegate Howell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Will the gentleman yield?
Gentleman yields.
Yes, sir.
Do you envision this working with existing entities like Burlington Children's Home, which operates across the state?
Yeah, I think the way the bill is written, that it allows for the state to put out an RFP or RFQ and to find who would be best suited for this. But I would also add there's a very key component to this, and that is the technological support that these case aid services can bring. So we're looking to streamline processes, create efficiencies on the administrative side of things, which then would allow the field staff, CPS workers, more time with the families and with the kids.
Do you believe most of this will be in-state companies that do this?
So again, I mean, the department would be able to make that decision. We didn't limit anything here. Would surely hope that they would be employing West Virginians, but we did not explicitly lay that out in the bill, again, giving them the opportunity to work through their procurement process on what would best support them.
Thank you, sir.
Gentleman from the 78th, Delegate Chiarelli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think back to my time coming out of college. My first job was with Child Protective Services. And after the probationary training period where you're only allowed to get 2 current cases a week, as soon as that ended, I had 10 dropped on my desk. Go investigate this. These are part of the backlog. So I start looking through some of the cases, and the first one is an allegation of a bruise, pretty common one. The case was a year old. How do we expect a brand new CPS agent to go effectively investigate an allegation of a bruise that's a year old? I'll tell you how. You can't. You can't do stuff like that. The backlog that I was experiencing, the backlog that other caseworkers were having to work through, you cannot meaningfully assess them when they're that far out. So I was thinking about this bill, and I think it's one of those ones that might slide under the radar, but when you go back home and you talk to your constituents and they ask you inevitably in some way or another, what are we doing about foster care? What are we doing about CPS? You should mention this. This kind of service, these kind of case aid services can be a huge, huge help. It's hard for me to stress just how much of a relief this will be to a lot of workers that get to experience this. I hope the pilot program takes off because this could be a big deal. Now, I don't think that this addresses the underlying cause of a lot of the problems. I don't think it addresses the root cause of why in some places there's backlogs of a year-old. And I know there's been a lot of effort by a lot of people to really, really rectify the situations. There are people working very, very hard, and I'm proud to say that they are. But I think that this is one thing that we could do to really make a big difference in the day-to-day life of a CPS worker. Maybe it will help us retain workers, and in the long run, maybe it will help us get the child welfare crisis a little bit more under control. So I absolutely urge passage of this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from the 100th, Delegate Ridenhour. Is there any other member seeking debate on the bill? If not, does the gentleman from the 64th wish to close debate? If not, the question before the House now is passage of the bill. All those in favor of passage will please signify by voting aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the results. On this question, there were 89 yeas, 0 nays, 10 members absent, not voting. A majority of the members present having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title of the bill.
House Bill 4602.
Are there amendments to the title? If not, the title will be and remain the title of the bill. Gentleman from the 1st.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to make the bill effective for passage.
Gentleman first moves to make the bill effective from passage. All those in favor of the gentleman's motion, please vote aye. Those opposed, vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there were 88 yeas, 0 nays, 11 members absent, not voting. 2/3 of the membership having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the motion passed. The clerk will report the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
House Bill 4801, defining permissible expenditures for municipalities and counties.
Before us now is passage of the bill. Is there objection to having the bill explained in lieu of having it read? No objections heard. The gentleman from the 50th, Delegate Pritt, to explain the bill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So House Bill 4801, the purpose of this bill is to add the demolition of unsafe and unsanitary structures and planning for reuse or improvement of property owned by municipalities and county commissions as permissible expenditures of revenue for the hotel occupancy tax. So this adds 2 additional categories that counties and municipalities can use their 50% that they get from hotel motel occupancy tax to potentially use to demolish unsightly structures or planning projects, things like that. It's not a tax increase on anyone, and every single one of us in this room, we have unsightly buildings, we have derelict structures that need to come down, It's a statewide problem, and this gives people more resources to do that. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Now heard the bill explained. There's debate on the bill. Delegate from the 99th, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the delegate yield?
Delegate yields.
So we've had discussions about this in my office. I just want to make sure everybody is clear. We're only talking about the 50% that the municipalities or the counties keep, not the part that goes to the CVBs, correct?
That's correct. The 50% that goes to CVBs is untouched. That remains and is not affected by this bill at all.
All right. Also, in our conversations, we discussed that the county commissions and the municipalities already have this ability to amend their ordinances to do this under the beautification qualification that's in code. Why do we feel we need to now make this, add this into code when they already have this right to do it themselves?
So that is a personal conversation that we had, right? And upon talking with others, especially attorneys that work in the House Judiciary Committee and individuals back home, there was a whole lot of reluctance and hesitation to use the interpretation of that term beautification to tear down derelict structures countywide or citywide. And so we wanted to further specify and make sure they understood they did have the ability to do this. And so that's why we're being more specific and adding these two additional options for them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, permission to speak to the bill?
Gentleman's recognized.
So, folks, you know, obviously we want to make sure that we're protecting our municipalities and doing everything. There's times when we feel that we need to add legislation when things that are already able to be done locally. A lot of times, and what we saw when the CVB organizations were created, municipalities, counties wrote these ordinances and directed all their share or a large portion of their share towards their parks and rec. Instead of the municipalities and counties who have the right to change their ordinance, they're asking us to change it for them, to give them a direction. You know, I just want you all to be careful as we move along in this legislative session of, especially with our CVBs and all the great things that they do for everybody here in regards to our communities and advertising and everything. Sometimes we just need to step back and let them do what they want. I'll be supporting the legislation. I just want you all just be cautious as we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from the 37th, Delegate Gerhardt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would my bill sponsor yield for just a question or two?
Sure,
Delegate
absolutely.
yields.
Absolutely.
Thank you. The allowable spending areas for the county commissions or municipalities for these dollars currently include some municipal or county facilities, parks, things of that nature.
Yes, historical areas
So
as well.
this would expand beyond what might be a traditional tourist-related item like a park or just possibly something like mold in the county courthouse basement or the record room at City Hall, a variety of different items. It would expand that to items that don't have a tourism application as that particular tax has typically been used. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I'm assuming that the dilapidated structures portion of this is intended to enhance tourism by making a more attractive area. Is that a fair assumption?
I think in part, yes. Community safety, general well-being, just all the above. But I think that would be a fair assessment of one potential application of this.
Is it also fair to say that the Department of Environmental Protection currently funds removal of dilapidated structures, and there has been a tremendous amount of supplemental spending in the last few years, frankly, a lot of it due to the senator from my area, Senator Swope, and his passion for that particular item. So there has been a pretty heavy amount of money dedicated to that particular purpose. Is that correct?
That is correct, and this provides counties and municipalities an additional option that doesn't require us here at the state level to inject money to them. They can do it on their own, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Is there other debate on the bill? If not, does the gentleman from the 50th wish to close debate on the bill?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the CVBs will be able to continue doing all the awesome things that they do for our communities. Their 50% portion remains untouched. This simply adds 2 additional expenditure options for counties and municipalities. It gives them the ability to tear down unsightly structures, community blight, things like that. Every single one of us in this room has problems like that in our communities. So I really would appreciate your yes vote on this, and thank you.
Debate on the bill has now been closed. The question before the body now is on adoption of or passage of the bill. Those in favor of passage, please vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will please prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there are 89 yeas, 1 nay, 9 members absent and not voting. A majority of the members present having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title of the bill.
House Bill 4801.
Are there amendments to the title? If not, the title will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please report the action of the House to the Senate. For what reason does the gentleman from the 16th seek recognition of the chair?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's brought to my attention that my vote on the roll call 89 on Bill 4602 was not registered. I'd like to have my vote registered as a yea.
Gentleman is in his chair. That gentleman would like to be voted as yea. Is there objection? No objections heard. Vote will so be recorded. Are there other bills on third reading? If not, bills on second reading.
Senate Bill 208 has been moved to the House calendar by your Committee on Rules.
Next bill on second reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4463 relating to the Board of Sanitarians.
Are there amendments?
Delegates Clark and Burkhammer move to amend the committee substitute. This is HFA Clark and Burkhammer 2-13 number 1.
Delegate from the 99th, Delegate Clark, to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Folks, this is just technical cleanup. We had expanded the qualifications to say associates or higher in one section, and we failed to catch that in another section. So this is just cleaning up to allow for associates or higher in both sections, and I urge passage.
You've heard the amendment explained. Is there a debate on the amendment? No debate is seen. All those in favor of the gentleman's amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the amendment adopted. Are there other amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4865, providing for a program allowing election official trainees to be appointed as election officials.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced. Next bill on second reading.
House Bill 4881, relating to obtaining title to abandoned or junked motor vehicles abandoned on the property or place of business of an automobile dealer.
Are there amendments? If not, bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4996, relating to bail in cases involving terroristic threats to schools or children.
Are there amendments? If not, bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4997, relating to residency restrictions for persons convicted of terroristic threats.
Are there amendments? If not, bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5021 has been moved to the House calendar by your Committee on Rules.
Next bill on second reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5096, relating to removing services from requiring a certificate of need.
Gentleman from first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Unanimous consent to move the bill to third reading with amendments pending.
Gentleman from first, ask unanimous consent for the bill to be moved to third reading with amendments pending. Are there objections? No objections heard. The bill will be advanced to third reading with amendments pending. Other bills on second reading. Bills on first reading.
House Bill 4106, allowing constitutional carry for 18 to 20-year-olds.
Bill be advanced.
House Bill 4419, requiring certain non-discretionary procedures be strictly complied with by the West Virginia Parkways Authority before tolls, rents, fees, or charges may be increased.
Bill be advanced.
House Bill 4452, to remove Morton Maine restrictions on religious organizations.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4464 relating generally to underground facilities damage prevention.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4471 approve sewage systems for rental property.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4573 foster youth post-secondary transition awareness act.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4592 relating to college campus safety.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4852 relating to regulation of foods.
Bill be advanced.
House Bill 4976 to add definitions for special plates of Class G vehicles.
Bill be advanced.
House Bill 4983 authorizing the Department of Commerce to promulgate a legislative rule relating to certification of a microgrid district or certification as a high-impact data center.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4993 relating to authorizing green flashing warning lights on Division of Highways vehicles or other equipment at the discretion of the Commissioner of Highways.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4999 relating to crimes against athletic officials.
Bill be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5101, the Joanna Phillips Domestic Violence Prevention Act.
Bill be advanced. Are the bills on first reading? If not, leaves of absence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For our colleagues, Jeffries, Kump, Maynard, McCormick, Miller, Doug Smith, Vance, Satezalo, Speaker Hanshaw.
Are there objections to the leaves of absence being approved? No objections are heard. Leaves of absence be so approved. Introduction of guest. Miscellaneous business. Chair recognizes the gentleman from the 73rd, Delegate Smith.
Delegates, friends, I just want to, today's probably going to be my last day, possibly for the rest of the session. I just wanted to tell you guys, this past year has been very difficult for me, and without all your guys' support, it's hard to tell where I would have been, and I deeply appreciate each and every one of you. I will be leaving this afternoon and go back to Morgantown for a 14-day treatment to get my right leg to work. That's the only thing right now that's not working is the hamstring on my right leg. So, just ask that you guys please keep me in your prayers, and hopefully after 14 days I'll be able to make it back here and see you guys at the end of the session. If not, I'll see you all. You guys did throughout the interim, so thank you all. I love you all, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Is there other miscellaneous business? If not, gentleman from the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move, subject to announcements, the House adjourn until Monday, 11 a.m.
Are there announcements? Delegate from the 72nd, Delegate Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Finance will meet Monday, February 16th at 9 a.m. for a committee meeting. The agenda will be posted.
Delegate from the 68th, Delegate Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Subcommittee on Local Governments will meet today at 1 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee Room. The agenda is posted, and Republicans will caucus in the chair's office at 12:45. Your Subcommittee on Government Administration will meet today at 2 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee Room. The agenda is posted, and Republicans will caucus in the chair's office immediately following the floor session. And finally, your Standing Committee on Government Organization will meet Monday at 1 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee Room. The agenda is posted, and Republicans will caucus at 12:45 in the chair's office.
Delegate from the 92nd, Delegate Height.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on the Health and Human Resources will meet Monday, February 16th at 3:30 p.m. in the Health and Human Resources Committee Room. Republican members will caucus at 3 p.m. The agenda is posted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from the 43rd, Delegate Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Subcommittee on Educational Choice will meet today at 1 p.m. in the Education Committee Room. The agenda is posted. Republican members of the committee will caucus 15 minutes prior to the meeting in Chairman Statler's office. Your Standing Committee on Education will meet Monday, February the 16th at 1:45 in the Education Committee Room. The agenda will be posted.
Delegate from the 10th, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Energy and Public Works will meet Monday, February 16th and Tuesday, February 17th in the House Judiciary Committee Room at 3 p.m. The agenda will be posted.
Delegate from the 54th, Delegate Pushkin.
Mr. Speaker, tomorrow is not just Valentine's Day, it also happens to be the birthday of a great West Virginian, Carl Beveridge of Craigsville, West Virginia. Mr. Beveridge served honorably in World War II. He's the recipient of a Purple Heart World War II Victory Medal and the Sharpshooter Medal, and tomorrow he turns 100 years old.
Delegate from the 88th, Delegate Hillenbrand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Veterans Caucus will be meeting Monday morning, 0700 in the McManus Room.
Delegate from the 55th, Delegate Akers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The subcommittees on courts, Homeland Security, and Legal Services will meet immediately following the floor session in the Judiciary Committee Room. The Committee on Judiciary will meet at 9 a.m. on Monday, February 16th. Republican members of the committee will caucus in the chairman's office at 8:45 a.m. Subcommittee on Legal Services, 9:45 a.m. Subcommittee on Homeland Security, 10 a.m. and Subcommittee on Courts at 10:15 a.m. All agendas will be posted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from the 1st, Delegate McGeehan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Rules Committee will meet 10:45 a.m. Monday in the Speaker's Conference Room.
Are there further announcements? If not, the question is on the gentleman's motion to adjourn until 11 a.m. Monday. All those in favor of the gentleman's motion, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The chair declares the House adjourned.